The last of our three demand presentations deals with charting the demand curve on a graph. At this point, you're going to need a demand schedule as well as a blank X and Y axis for us to work with to plot the points of both price and quantity for this demand curve. As you can see, price and quantity are both clearly labeled, and they are ready for us to graph. I'm going to be using red today. The first thing we need to do on the graph is label the X and Y intercept, and at that point that is 0. Price is actually located on the Y-axis, so we can actually write that in right now. With that price, it's conveniently set by $20 increments, so we'll set the scale appropriately. When using non-graph paper to plot a demand curve, it is important to use even and fairly accurate spacing on your axis. At this point, now we can begin to label at $20 increments. It's always good to leave an extra space in case a future demand curve shifts when adding additional information to our graphs. That will be something we cover in future flip videos. On the bottom, we need to address our quantity demanded, so we can write quantity to label this axis, and to assess a scale. At this point, once again, clear, even hash marks to mark your quantity. Once again, convenient. It's on an even scale. And it looks like we forgot one up here. We'll add that one at this time as well. For your curve, if available, do use a different color so that it stands out. And now we're going to plot these points. First point being $140 and 0 for quantity. Second being $120 and 5 for quantity. Third, 110. The fourth, 80 and 15. Try to be as accurate as possible. It is difficult without graph bars, however it can be done. 60 and 20. 40 and 25. 20 and 30. And finally, at $0, people would demand 35 units of this product. Once completed with this, now you're going to connect the dots and try to make it as continuous a curve as possible. We're not done yet. Last bit to this is actually developing and putting a title for this. Let's say these were MP3 players. We could say demand curve. And lastly, we can say demand of MP3 players. When dealing with demand, the most accurate depiction of that demand is the demand curve because it can give us additional points. For example, I can figure out at 90, which would be here, change my color. At 90, we can come across and find a point at which it sits. Based on our chart, quantity would be about 12 at 90. So as you can see, the demand curve is much more descriptive and depictive of demand than the demand schedule. Hope this was helpful and educational. Enjoy.